we have this issue within our community. Sad to say is a lot of us are lost. And we have this weird white savior complex. Isn't it funny how no matter what a black person says is always undermined when a white person says it? If a white person says something that we've been saying forever, all of a sudden people listen, and black people especially, because all of a sudden a white person says it. So we have this weird white savior complex. And sometimes when people talk about that, they say, you know what, that's hundreds of years of conditioning. I say that's incorrect. I say it has nothing to do with 100 years of conditioning. It's more to do with thousands of years of conditioning. White people have not just influenced us during the transatlantic slave trade. No, it's thousands of years of conditioning. From the moment the Romans stepped foot into Egypt, the moment the French stepped foot into North Africa, the moment the Dutch stepped foot into South Africa, this has been going on for thousands of years. Like I always told the Israelites, I might not be a Hebrew Israelite, I might not believe in the ideology, but I believe that the Israelites were black. Definitely, without a doubt. However, this is thousands and thousands of years of brainwashing and conditioning, not hundreds of years. Like, it's psychological brainwashing, media manipulation. We're led to believe that white women are the epitome of beauty. Even when we talk about light-skinned beauty, or mixed beauty and things like that, a brother of mine said once, you have this effect where some brothers will look at what's close to white. So these mixed women or light-skinned women that are put on the pedestal in the media is because, well, they're not that black. So they're closer to white, but black features, so they'll put them there. But it's what's closer to white. So we're led to believe that white women are the epitome of beauty. White men are these prince charmings. The prince charmings of society that are going to save you. They got great credit and they can do stuff and they're the protectors and the saviors of the universe and have all the cosmic power and bullshit like that, right? Well, all of a sudden, black men are seen as aggressive thugs who hate, abuse women. They abandon their women. And then we're taught that black women are ugly, hypermasculine, ghetto, rude, money-grabbing, quote-unquote whores. And as children, we're taught to hate our features. And we're taught to glorify anything that's near white. I don't know if any of you have seen the doll test, for example, where they give little black children, and they say, pick the doll that's beautiful, and the children pick the white doll. So we're taught to hate our features and glorify anything that's near white. And it's funny for me because even growing up, I hated my hair. Believe it or not, I hated my hair. When I was 9, I went for about 7 months. Any of you that know, my father was in the military, so we moved around sometimes. And I went to a white school for about 7 months. And just 7 months of manipulation and bullying made me hate my hair. I wanted my hair to be straight. Do you believe that? So that's what's important. That's why it's important for black children to have positive affirmation. This is why we have children who are upset that they have beautiful, thick, curly hair and, wish it was straight and thin and stuff like that. I remember being very young and noticing black women were ashamed of being curvy or thick and they would cover their curves. Most black women, that I used to see, and I can only talk about experience, they used to wear clothes that would cover their assets. They would cover, they would wear clothes that would cover their assets. And because we even used to talk about black women's features or body and say, that's a body only a black man could love. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And I'm talking about in the 90s, 90s, very early 2000s. But then all of a sudden, when white media deemed that curves were sexy and popular and that, okay, because now white girls can, get some butt shots or whatever. Because remember, it's only popular or good if a white person can appropriate it or if a white person can fake the funk. That's what it's about. If they can fake the funk, all of a sudden, that's when it can become popular. If they can't utilize the black features, it's not popular. Thick curly hair is now popular because they can try to emulate it. They do. Full lips have become popular because they can now try to emulate it. It would not be popular if they could not emulate it. It's not duplicated. Emulating is not duplicated. Don't get it twisted. So we're now told that it's okay to embrace the natural physical attributes. They're saying, sisters, yeah, it's okay. But even then, that's only while they're profiting from the very features that they taught us to believe are ugly. Remember, they taught us to believe that these features were ugly. They told us these things. They had manipulated us into that these features are ugly. And I've said it many times before. All right, So the lips, okay. They're loving the lips right now. The hair, they're loving the hair. The curves, they're loving the curves. The complexion, they're loving the complexion. And we said, oh, they don't like the nose. You wait. There are white women that want broader noses and that are getting broader noses. Like, okay, you guys know what I look like. See my face, right? I have big lips. I'm light skinned, but it's melanated. I have thick, curly, 3C hair. I hate my nose. I got a straight nose. It ain't a white nose because it's not shaped like it. It's just, my nose is super straight. And I have to deal with my own little body dysmorphia shit that I deal with. And, I've had brothers and sisters say, no, you got an Ethiopian nose, you got an East African nose, stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, thanks. I just never liked it. I never liked it. The nose, ladies and gentlemen, is next. It's next. Because the moment they can get that surgery right, and they're doing it, they are going to do it. They steal our music. They steal our art form. They rewrite our history. Notice I say our history. They rewrite it because they want to be the victors and the victims of history. The victors and the victims. And this is narcissistic personality disorder. They are children. Until the time white people are like children. They want to complain. They want their cake and they want to eat it. It's all the same shit. The system. We said this before. We complain about the system, and they say, "Oh, the system wasn't, designed for us or whatever." We noticed the system was not designed for us, but it was designed to destroy us from the inside out. That's the funny thing. It was designed to destroy us from the inside out, because the first way that you destroy a people is to make those people hate themselves. Is to make those people turn on themselves, and they've been doing that for centuries. They did that in Africa. They came into Africa and they said, okay, they're not doing what we want. They're not bending to our will. They're not folding our command. So demonic manipulation, they came around and they said, yo, we're going to destroy you by making you destroy each other. That's what they did. They turned us against each other. Remember, Africa was a giant landmass. I always have this little joke where I say when Raven Simone had mentioned Africa being a country once or something like that, and I said we laughed at her, but she wasn't wrong. Technically, Africa was just one big landmass, one country. They had different tribes on it. It was the white man that came along and divided us. It was the white man that came along and put lines and borders and said, no, you're not this and you're this and you're that. Now we have so much self-hate, and we've even been deluded into believing that if a black man hates a black woman, that's not self-hate. That's what they tell us. But that's bullshit. That is self-hate. You cannot hate your opposite and not hate yourself. They say all the time, you can't love the tree and hate the roots. We come from a black woman. We come from black women. We do. And I say the same thing to black women. Don't get it twisted. You can't hate the brothers and talk about you love yourself. You came from a black man. You've got these black men that think that black women are rude, aggressive, and then they turn around and say that they would rather, date a white or an Asian woman because they're submissive. So then that lets you realize that these men can't handle black women anyway. Because what they want, when you ask these guys, what do you want from a black woman? They want a black woman that is subdued. They want a black woman that bows to their will. That's why any black woman that is opinionated, any black woman that has a belief system, any black woman that will not just fold, that woman is aggressive to them. This is how they feel. So really, you just want her to bow down to you. And I said this so many times. You got to give black women something to respect. Real men get this. That's the funny thing. I get so many brothers that message me and say, Angel, you're right. We got to give black women something to respect. Black women are no different to any other women when it comes to things like that. They respect power. Women respect power. Women respect men that take control. Women respect men that can provide. Women respect men that can protect. Women respect men that will defend them. Women respect men that will respect them. So black men, if you feel a type of way about that, you have to make that decision. You have to stand up. You have to do what it takes. You have to make them believe in you. You have to do all of that. It's not black women. It's you. If you're sick and tired, black men, if you're sick and tired of that black women don't respect you, give them something to respect. But I can't because it's the white man's holding me down, the white man's destroying me, and this and that. So handle something. Do something about it. These black women are too aggressive, they're too hard, they're too cold. Sisters ain't had no choice. These black women had no choice. Black women are not white women. Black women are not white women. They do not have the privilege of being the damsel in distress. They do not have the privilege of being weak. They do not have the privilege to be soft, to wait for their Prince Charming. Within the society that we live in, black women were given no choice but to be strong. And sadly, sometimes when you're strong, you turn cold, sadly. But as soon as a black woman who's light-skinned and speaks Spanish, she's automatically sexy and fiery. As soon as a black woman is mixed or looks mixed or light-skinned or whatever, and she talks in the same manner that a dark-skinned woman talks, it's okay. Because she's light-skinned, she's seen as passionate. It's the same thing. But if she's dark-skinned, oh, she's angry. White people, the black agents, the coons, they want black women to believe that every black man hates them. And that the white man is going to take care of her and love her better than her own men and things like that. You know this all over TV. All we now see, the extreme push on interracial relationships. And you know how TV and the media works. It works to mold our opinions, our thoughts, our perceptions. We don't seem to grasp that, there'll be no us. There will be no us. If we don't have unity, have black love, uplift each other, this is black men and black women. This works both ways. There will be no us. Even people like me that look like me, who are black but are light with, looser curly hair. There'll be none of this neither. None of this. Because all of this comes from black people. All of this comes from black. This is what people don't seem to get. And sadly, some of our own brothers and sisters, I say brothers and sisters, sometimes, all skin folk ain't kinfolk, but some of our own men and women are so oblivious to what's going on. They're blind to the fuckery. It's Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is very real. It's extremely real. Very, 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 very real. I get so sick and tired when I see black men defending white men and white women that violate black women. Or when I see black women that defend white men that violate black men. Or racist. And that argument, well, we're so fucked up and we do so much fucked up shit, so we can't blame the white people. You know what? In part, there's some truth to that when we turn around and say, you know what? We need to start loving ourselves and treating ourselves right so that they can see that we're not weak and that we're not divided, so that they can at least try to respect us. But don't get the shit twisted. Even if they see that we love each other, that don't mean that they're going to start respecting us and that they're going to love us or they're going to treat us equally. So it ain't going to make no difference. But the problem is when you turn around and justify white fuckery by saying, well, black people do this to each other, that gives white people an argument. That gives white people a reason to fuck around. That allows white people to disrespect us. I've seen black women defend heinous, disgusting acts simply because the man was white. I've witnessed black men attempt to assist the disrespect towards black women. I've seen black women allow white men to disrespect black men. I've seen it. I've seen black men turn around to white guys and go, listen, you can do what the fuck you want with our women. I have witnessed this. Black men and black women, with the interracial thing, there's so many brothers and sisters, black men and black women, that deny the obvious and apparent fetishization from white men and women. Sometimes they don't even deny it. They just think it's acceptable. They're like, well, it's okay. They think it's acceptable as long as they're willing to get married as well. I have seen black women say, what does it matter if a white man fetishizes me? As long as he gonna marry me. Really? So you're completely happy with a marriage based on sexual lust and a fetish. Like, you're cool with that. You don't care. You have no issues with that. But yeah, if a black man was to fetishize you and to lust after you, and plus, a black man can fetishize a black woman, not for her being black, but for features, they would go nuts. And there's this huge fetish towards mixed and biracial looking babies. There is. And as a man of African descent who looks biracial, I've never denied how I look. Have I? You guys know I've never denied this. I hate when people call me biracial because I'm not. I have a biracial mother, I have a black father, but I know that I look biracial. I know this. I see myself in the mirror every day. I see biracial people, I see me, I see my dad, I know I look like my dad, I see my mom. So I know I've experienced the fetish firsthand. Our community suffers from colorism. When all of a sudden you get these black people that are like, that say that black babies are not cute, but they think biracial or mixed children are cute or beautiful. Like, really? What do you think that does to black children who are not mixed, that don't have a mixed phenotype? What that does to their self-esteem? How that destroys them? The beauty that you see in biracial and mixed children is because of African DNA. It's because of African DNA. You get a half white, you get a half white English, half Japanese child, right? They ain't gonna look as good as no half Japanese, half African American, or half Japanese, half Jamaican, or half Japanese, half black. It won't look as good. So you know that blackness is the key to that beauty. Beautiful because of your blackness, not in spite of it. I hate when people are like, oh yeah, you're beautiful because you're mixed, or you're beautiful because you got some white in you, or because you got this and you got that. No, 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 no. Beautiful because the black was in there. Take away that black, it ain't gonna look right. We're now becoming just like our historical, and in some cases, our current oppressors. We're shunning lighter skinned and biracial people and casting them out of the black community. The same way white people refuse to accept biracial kids. We're doing the same thing now, which is ridiculous. And like I always say that if you have a biracial person that doesn't want to identify with their blackness and, wants to, oh, hey, man, if you don't want to be black, fine, I'm not going to make you. But those biracial people that feel black and say they're black and just don't want nothing to do with whiteness, I've had people turn around, literally say, you're not black unless you're dark skinned. And they're talking about light skinned people with two black parents. And then we in turn mock and bully our dark-skinned brothers and sisters all in the same way racist white people do. Because it happens. I'm not deluded. I know I talk about the experience that I've had with dark-skinned brothers, but I'm not deluded. There are those of us who are aware about what's going on. We're awake. We're conscious of the bullshit. We see it. Some of us are not even awake. Like, people say to me, oh, Angel, you so woke. I say, I'm not woke. I'm not conscious. I'm waking up. For people, there are differences. There are people who are conscious. There are people that are woke. There are people that are waking up. And there are people that are aware. And then there are people that see it happening, but they're just willfully ignorant and blind and turn their face and don't want to see it. There are those of us who are not down with this world. Those of us who love black women and, sisters that love black men. Black men gotta love black men too. And I'm not talking about homosexuality. I'm saying black men have to love black men too. That infighting between black men needs to end. Black women need to love black women too. We need to love ourselves. And by doing this, that's the only way that the black community can rise and prosper. That comes down with, buying black. Like I said all the time, we know that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. But we have to be aware that all skin folk ain't kinfolk. We have to be aware of that. And sometimes I think that we're not aware of that. It's like bleaching and stuff like that. This is one of the things that we don't even seem to understand. We have brothers and sisters that are dying to look white. And what people also need to understand is that racism, not only in America, because this is one of the things that I have to point out, is this is not just an American problem. This is a worldwide problem. This is affecting people in the United Kingdom, affecting people in the Netherlands, affecting black people in Germany, in the Caribbean, in America. It's, in South America, it is a worldwide problem where anywhere where there are African people. Racism is not ending anytime soon. And the reason that it's not ending anytime soon is because racism benefits white people. It actually benefits them. White people are not affected by racism. They dismiss our complaints. They dismiss our cries. When you tell them that they actually commit the most crime, which they do. Oh, but per capita, because there's more white people, so obviously. Okay. All right. You've got when they start using their stereotypes, they tell us that we're all on welfare when it's very apparent by statistics, because they love statistics and facts. Just they don't like statistics and facts when statistics and facts expose them that the biggest recipients, the largest recipients of welfare are white people. We know this. They don't want to admit that though. And now you have white people that they want to pretend to be oppressed like us. Literally, I say pretend. I posted that picture of the so-called quote-unquote pro-white page. The whole page is white tears. Oh, white people, we're being oppressed. Oh my God, oh my God. Fuck off. Can I say bitch for a moment? Bitch where? Bitch where? Please show me where you're being oppressed. And the funny thing is, when white people are being oppressed in any type of way, white people are being oppressed by other white people. When white people are being killed, they're being killed by other white people. When they talk about, oh, the mass genocide, white genocide, that's by other white people. But when you go to countries in Europe and they talk about, oh my, but look what's happening in Europe. That's other white people. The Holocaust, that was white people against white people. Don't get the shit fucking twisted. That was just white Germans oppressing white Hungarians, other white Germans, white Bulgarians, white Austrians who happened to be Jewish. That's a religion, not a race. It was white people versus white people. Have you noticed that white people, they've got a major focus about discouraging black people from leaving the United States? Have you noticed that in the United States, you don't need a passport to travel? This is not a joke, people. I tell you this all the time. Get your passport. Get your passport. White people do not want black people to leave the United States. As a man that travels outside of the United States on a regular basis, the moment you leave the United States, you will realize how stupid people are. Trust me. And you'll realize that they want to teach their stupid to our children. They want to teach their stupid to your children. So many black people don't even understand the difference between race, nationality, culture, ethnicity. Because we're being taught by stupid people. We're not even being taught, we're being trained to think like them. This is why they don't want you to leave the United States. That's why they tell you that Africa is a pile of shit. They tell you Africa is a pile of shit. They tell you that. But while they're telling you Africa is a pile of shit, guess who's in Africa? Lapping it up, making money, raping the crap out of it. White people, Asian people, facts. And then we've got our own people that will attack and bash black people for wanting to go back to Africa. I know my plans. You know, white people tell me all the time, go back to Africa then if you don't like it. Well, you did kind of like steal my ancestors. You did kidnap us. You did bring them over there. You did drag them. Like, you did do all that. And I gladly want to go back. Are you going to pay for my ticket? Because I'm going whether they pay for my ticket or not. I'm going regardless. Because I learned a long time ago, you need to stop waiting for white people to do stuff. You need to stop waiting for white people to do stuff for you. Why are you waiting for your oppressors? Why are you waiting for your oppressors to do something? Why? They're oppressors. Their job is to oppress. White people's job is to hold black people down. That's their job. That's why they do this. It's not going to save you. Listen, I'm not waiting for that. What I'm doing is I'm trying to get my shit together, stack my money, make sure when I move to Africa, I can offer something to the community that I'm in so that I'm taken care of by my own community, and I'm gone. Because I tell you the truth, I have a fear. I have a huge fear of having children in the West. Notice I said the West. I have nieces, I have nephews, I have cousins, and I have friends with children, and I worry. I worry about them. I can't raise my children in the West. We talk about agendas when they portray Africa in the media as the worst place to live. This is purposely what they do. You know, they always show poor villages and poor people, but they never show the parts of Africa that are like the United States. There are parts of Africa that are like the United States. Oh my God, if you ever see how much I fell in love with Tanzania. When I saw Tanzania, I fell in love with it. But you notice when they show buildings in Europe, they show the skylines, big buildings. They never show the poverty in Europe. Come on. Those of us that live in Europe, that live in America, know for a fact there are some, I've been to some places. I've seen some slums that I'm thinking, I can't believe this is a first world country. And I see a lot of my brothers and sisters returning to the motherland. You know, they say racism will be over when we stop talking about it. Right. So obviously, clearly, because I haven't stopped talking about it, I guess I'm keeping racism alive, right? Right? Me complaining about racism, me highlighting racism, me talking about racism, that means I'm keeping racism alive. Not the fact that they're actually being racist. Them being racist is not keeping racism alive. No. Oh, no. Them being racist is not keeping racism alive. Nah. Them killing black men is not keeping racism alive. Them raping black women is not keeping racism alive. Them holding us down is not keeping racism alive. No. Angel talking about racism is keeping racism alive. Yeah, that's what's keeping racism alive. But I don't see color. Like, we're all one. Even Stevie Wonder knows when somebody is black and he's actually blind. When you say you don't see color, it's like saying that I don't see height, or I don't see weight, or I don't see bald. It's a lie. It might not matter, but don't pretend not to see features that make us unique. That's some bullshit. That's like me saying Shelly's a woman. That's like me saying, Shelly, when I look at you, I don't see a woman. I see a human. I see a being and see a Homo sapien when I look at you, Shelly. I don't see a woman. You will feel violated. What do you mean you don't see a woman? What do you mean you don't see a woman? Of course I'm gonna see a woman, and I'm gonna treat you accordingly. However, I'm gonna treat you equally. I'm not, well, there's not gonna be a full equality because I don't hit women. So if Shelly pisses me off, I ain't gonna hit you. But everything else is absolutely fine. So everything, I'm gonna treat her completely equal to the way that I'm gonna treat another man. I'm gonna give her the respect that I give women. And this is the funny thing. I know somebody was talking about bleaching and things like that. It really annoys me when people judge people that bleach their skin. I'm going to be real. It really annoys me. You can't judge these people that bleach their skin without taking into account colonialism and those that shamefully, they insist on upholding colonial mindsets and systems or operate in that hateful color bar. That colorism, color bar that impacts, let's be real, primarily dark-skinned Black women in particular. I know you're going to bring up Sammy Sosa, but Sammy has a different type of hate. Sammy's major issue is also that he's Hispanic and he wants to be a white Hispanic. He wants, I'm not Black, I'm mulatto. You're going into a different realm there. You're going into colonialism, brainwashing. You're going into that white savior complex that I want to be as close to the Spanish crown as possible bullshit. People that bleach, they are a symptom of colonialism and colorism. They are not the cause. So I do not stand for when people attack Black women and Black men that bleach. I don't believe that they need to be scorned. They need understanding. And for that message, to spread so people can get it. We spread the message that deep melanin is beautiful. That dark skin is beautiful. As a light-skinned man, I appreciate dark skin. It's not, dark skin on anybody. Dark skin is beautiful. I realize a lot of things. Social media is so powerful. You learn so much. You see so much. And you just think to yourself, wow, what you see is really fucked up. But as long as we learn and we're willing to push forward, willing to understand each other and to not give up, that's the most important thing. And I always talk about when we talk about privileges or anything or in experiences, just because you personally do not benefit from a particular privilege, whether it be light skin or white or whatever, right? Or even as a man, because as a man, there's privilege as a man. Men have privilege, and there's even a level of privilege with dark-skinned men that dark-skinned women will never have. Just because you have not benefited from this in some sort of way does not mean that it does not exist. Just because you have not had this experience does not mean that it's not real. And you can't shit on other people's experiences. Somebody said to me once, they were like, Angel, you're the voice of Black women. I am not the voice of Black women. I'm going to tell you this right now. I am not the voice of Black women. Okay? No. I am the voice of Angel. I am me. I speak on what I see because that is disrespectful. That is disrespectful. For me to turn around and say I'm the voice of Black women would be disrespectful to Black women. I can't speak on what Black women have gone through. I can't speak on their experiences. I can see what I'm witnessing and I can say what I'm witnessing. I'm not their voice. Black women have to have their own voice, and Black women do have their own voices. However, I speak to brothers. But when I speak to brothers, I'm not being the voice of Black women. I'm being the voice of a Black man talking. I'm the voice of a man saying, this ain't right. You can't do that. So no, I'm not the voice of Black women. That would be disrespectful. I appreciate when people give me compliments, but let's not say that, because there are Black women that have been standing up and talking and preaching for so long. I can't just come along, now that I'm saying it. No, because that works in the same way when we say, when a white man says it, all of a sudden we listen. You see, that's that male privilege. There is a male privilege. But we know a lot of these guys ain't listening to me anyway. Because I realized something about, the Black men who bash Black women. They are threatened by us uplifting Black women. They're threatened by that. They're insecure. They've got deep self-esteem issues. They hold a personal grudge against Black women. And because of this, they lash out at all Black women. And then they refer to Black men who defend and uplift Black women as simps or effeminate. They're threatened by it. I hate when they turn around to Black women and say, any man that uplifts you must want your money or must just want to get in your underwear. And Listen, ladies and gentlemen, right? There is definitely black men that are using black women for their own devices or trying to get money from the community and just want donations and will say whatever they want to say. Like this is real. This does happen. But there are also black men that are so dedicated to black women and they're not trying to get, one of the questions you do have to ask is when a black man stands up for black women, do you have a black woman? You do have to ask that. Do you have a black woman? And I say all the time, the truth will always show its face. It always does. It always does. It always comes to light. Some of the arguments, their main arguments are, and I'm going to, go through this. They say that black women gave up on good brothers for thugs. I'm sure you've heard that. Or black women don't know how to treat a man and, they don't know how to make him feel like a man. Or black women don't want to see black men uplifted. They complain about why they aren't uplifted. Some black men say, oh, black women are our enemies. They're competing with us to be the head of the race, the head of the household. And I'm sure you've heard these arguments a lot. I'm sure you've heard them. I hear them all the time. I see these talking points and hear these talking points all the time. Firstly, when they say black women gave up on good brothers for thugs, right, they prove that they hold personal grudges based on an experience. It's a personal grudge. So they're using that personal grudge as a reason to generalize all black women when we know that that's not true. When they use that as their first argument, it shows that they've been rejected by black women that may have picked a thug over them. Or they've seen it happen to somebody else and they felt, some type of way about it. That's where the self-esteem issue comes into play. Because once they were rejected, they start questioning why. So they're like, why did she pass me up for a dude who ain't shit? What's wrong with me? Why would she go for a thug over a decent guy like me, right? It's all really simple. Some of these guys that think they're nice guys or think they're good guys aren't nice guys. They're not necessarily good guys. Men need to stop thinking that just because I have a degree and I have a car and a house and I don't have a criminal conviction, that makes me a good guy, a nice guy, and makes me entitled to black women. It doesn't. Simply having your shit together does not make you entitled to black women. That don't make you a nice guy. That don't make you a good guy or the guy. What then happens is you get these non-black women that will approach these black men. And a lot of white women don't care what a black man is like, what his character is like, what his personality is like. As long as he's black, it's like, yes, he's black, yes. They think because they're getting picked by white women, so that must mean that white women like them more. It don't mean that white women like you more. White women just ain't got no fucking standards. Let's be real, they have fetishes. The other argument, when they say that black women don't know how to make a man feel like a man, that shows how insecure they are. Because what they're doing is these men are looking for somebody else to validate their manhood for them. Brothers, I tell you right now, only you can make yourself feel like a man. Nobody else but you. Nobody else but you. If you allow somebody else to make you feel like something that you're not, that shows your own insecurities about yourself. I don't need no woman to validate me. I don't need likes on Instagram. I don't need likes on Facebook. I don't need views. I don't need women complimenting me. I don't need none of that shit. I don't need women to validate me. I get that from myself because I know what I had to go through to make myself the man that I am today. And, I'm saying this to brothers, but that goes for women too. But everyone says that to women. Everybody tells women that they don't need men to validate them. But nobody says that to men. You don't need anybody else to make you feel like a man. No one else but you. I know that I'm a man because of all of the trouble I've been through and was still able to succeed through my own willpower. I've come through adversity. I've managed to accomplish some of my goals, not all of them. I'm still working on it. I'm still focused on my goals. Because being a man is about you have strong character. You stand by yourself, not how somebody else perceives you. When you're only focused about how somebody else perceives you, you're not a man, you're a boy. You are a boy. Because this is the difference between being a man and a boy. Men hold themselves accountable. Men are responsible for their actions. Boys need somebody to tell them they're a man. So saying that black women don't know how to make a man feel like a man, maybe you're so focused on her trying to make you feel like a man that you haven't realized that you are not yet a man. So therefore, that's why she's not able to make you feel like a man. You're relying on her. And when you rely on her to make you feel like a man, that makes you the female in the relationship. A lot of times they say, oh, black women don't want to see black men uplifted. I've heard this. I've heard black men complain that black women don't want to see black men uplifted. The funny thing is this, let's be real. Who are the main group of people uplifting black men? Beside black men, it's black women. Black women are the only ones uplifting you, you know. It's black women that are uplifting you. All of the videos I see that are giving black men props are from black women. All of the posts I see are from black women. And black women can understand you. So that argument is just stupid. You know, the only black women that complain about black men being uplifted are swirlers who hate black men. The only ones that complain about that are the ones that hate black men. We know the majority of black women love black men. And those black women are the ones that have been tricked and used as another tool of white supremacy to keep us divided. We know this. The same way that black men that attack black women are another tool of white supremacy. Black women are not our enemies. When we look at all the adversity that we as black men have faced, black women have always been at our side. You can't name one protest or one organization where it was just black men only. Black Panthers, Nation of Islam, Black Lives Matter, all had women there. Black women are not competing with us to be the head of the race. I disagree with that when they say that black women are competing to be the head of the race. Black women are fighting to stay at our side. And we as black men, sometimes we force them to compete with other races of women for their rightful spot. No black woman should ever compete to stand next to a black man. And they should never compete with other races of women. A black woman's spot is by the side of a black man. It is by the side. It's a yin and yang. So it's not about competing. Allow them to stand by you and they won't have to compete. They're not competing to be the head. They're competing to be at their rightful spot with us. Peace, love, and coconut oil.
Hey man, that's racist. Please remember that from now on, brand new never before seen videos, as well as live streams, will only be available on my website, ikyg.com, via a Patreon subscription. ikyg.com is a black-owned, black-ran platform, 100% free from censorship. It's the only place where we don't have to worry about what we say and expressing ourselves. Make sure you check out the description and the comment section for important links, as well as information in video form that shows you what benefits you get when you support the site and join my Patreon. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, then don't forget to subscribe and be notified every time I upload a video. For exclusive content and perks, check out my Patreon. This is where we have private live streams, group chats, live Q&As, live phone calls, and open topics. This is a safe space where you can interact with other like-minded people, make friends, send each other direct private messages, and so much more without any trolls. And yes, you get to use GIFs and images in the live chats. So what are you waiting for? This is a completely independent website, free from censorship. If you'd like to make a donation towards the site so we can continue to put out the truth without fear of being silenced, then please hit that donation button. It's greatly appreciated. Check out the rest of the site for videos, private and public live streams, find out all the tea, and make sure to utilize the Black Money section of the website. Advertise your business absolutely free to people that look like you, free forever. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at angel_IKYG.